Hi friends, it's your pal Scott, and today we are going to talk about Magic the Gathering's 2026 release schedule. We're specifically going to talk about Reality Fracture, that specific set, and then we're going to talk about this from the context of Dungeons and Dragons and what it means for Dungeon Masters and Dragon Masters. All right, so let's talk about Reality Fracture. So this is the fifth release. Actually, you know what? I think they're saying there's going to be 7 releases. They actually talked about this. They said there's going to be 7 releases in 2026, and that is this doesn't even count like secret layer drops, right? And other projects that they do. It's incredible, right? And each one of the projects is bigger than they've been before. Like, this is next level. Like, it's just incredible. And they talked about this. They're like, hey, we know this number is super high, but we just want to let you know that we just have a lot going on this year, and we wanted to, and just let you know that we recognize this is high, and that we are going to, and we're not, this number is not setting a standard. We're not going to do. However, the standard might be that it's going to go even higher. Like, because, uh, Final Fantasy made $200 million in 24 hours. Nothing in tabletop gaming performs like Magic the Gathering, because it's connected to Dungeons and Dragons, in my humble opinion. All right, so let's talk about Reality Fracture. So Reality Fracture is really unusual. In fact, I think it is the most unusual product on this entire list. So what is it? We don't know, okay? One thing we know is that it's really interesting. They were like, Magic the Gathering, Marvel, superheroes, Magic the Gathering, and then, The Hobbit, right? And then Lorwyn Eclipse did not have it didn't even have that before it, right? Like, so it was a different structure. And this is the same. This is structured like it's going to be a traditional release, exactly like Lorwyn Eclipse. But it also says Reality Fractures, we know almost nothing about it. We know that it is different than it's a non-licensed property, but it gets weirder than that. So its subtitle is it's like the movie poster has a line that describes the film, a descriptor, right? It's the same thing. It says the multiverse meets its match. You're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's really strange. Like, they're indicating that they're going to change something about the multiverse itself. What? That's really interesting. So what could it be? So I'll give you, and this is purely speculation. This is my speculation on what they're going to do. All right, here we go. So I am massively interested, probably more than anybody on the planet, in how Dungeons and Dragons connects itself to intellectual properties. And I keep saying it's really unprecedented, and I do think it's unprecedented, and it's very much unparalleled. There is one product in the world that has the same shape as how Dungeons and Dragons actually connects itself to intellectual properties, and that is Fortnite. Fortnite is, and what ironically, Dungeons and Dragons is literally canon connected to Fortnite. There's a Magic the Gathering Fortnite set. There's actually more than one. Pretty incredible. But Fortnite has literally hundreds of intellectual property connections, right? And one of the things that they do is they bring real people into Fortnite, okay? Kwame is in there, and Naomi Osaka is in there, and Ariana Grande is in Fortnite, right? That is something that Fortnite has that Magic the Gathering does not have, right? Like, and so I think you could get a situation where, like, Bradley Cooper, not one of his characters, Bradley Cooper is in Magic the Gathering. That's very, very unusual, right? Like, and so Reality Fracture is a really, really strange product. I think it's very unusual what's happening with it. And it definitely has the possibility to be the single most unusual product in all of this. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.